Hi, everybody. I am so excited about tonight. I've had so many questions and requests for this evening. It's going to be really interesting. People saying, did I get the right name? Is it time to use my full name? What happens when I get to choose a married name? Etc. Hello, Valerie. And hi, Kim. And Natasha, and Alicia, and Rachel, and Marianne, Melody, and a question in from you, Melody. And as I say, lots and lots of questions today. So it'll be very interesting. Oh, maybe we should just have a card while we, the unicorn one's the nearest, so that we just grab the unicorn cards and the question to it. So we'll ask for some guidance for tonight. Well, it says, sorry, let me just put the pack down. It says, openings. A new door is opening for you, and there is a key for you to take and a window to go through with the unicorn waiting on the other side. And this isn't just about a new door. This is about a new high frequency door. Something new is coming into life. And of course, we have got Uranus influencing us and making changes happen. So that's really very interesting to have that unicorn card tonight. And a very bright, shiny key to something new as well. So, interesting to see who joins, and it'll be lovely to see. Maybe I just start. Oh, well, okay, I'll start with a different question. There were lots of other questions, as always, came in. And this was from Rosarita. When all or more people and animals ascend to the fifth dimension, will terminal physical ailments such as cancer disappear? And she's joined a cat fan group on Facebook, and it's sad to learn about animals having diseases, and you don't want people or animals to suffer before dying. Oh, let me just say hello to people. Hello to Reza and Pauline and Suzanne and Kirsten. And Rachel, who I said hello to already, Bronwyn, Yanni, Satu, Burpee, Sarah, Sandra, Shital. Okay, and so the answer is that when everybody is fully fifth dimensional, all the chakras are open and blazing. Now, I'm not talking about just the lower levels of the fifth dimension, but the upper levels, then of course the lower frequencies have to disappear. Nobody emotionally wants people or animals to suffer, but if that's what their soul has commanded, that's the spiritual aspect of it, which is very different. And so the more you raise your frequency, the more quickly these things will no longer be relevant on our planet. Hi Freya, hi Eva, hi Veronica. And, oh, how do I pronounce your name? Ishreem, and Anne, and Joanne, and Annette, and Peter, Laura, and Renu, and Kenzel, lots and lots of different names, all with different vibrations. And, Satu, you said you knew about that door. Thanks for making sure. Well, that was the unicorn card I picked for tonight. Hi, Nadine, and Shaz, and Abigail, and Kristen. Ah, you had a dream last night that you floated through the window. Well, there's the unicorn confirming it. Oh, hi, everybody. Hello. Oh, Gillian, it's your first time here. Welcome. Hello. Everybody, it's lovely to see you. Okay, shall I just start with the first question that came in, or just a little bit about vibrations? Because every sound has a vibration, and if a sound is sounded like the vibration of your name, then it reverberates out into the universe and calls in a response from the spiritual realms. And so, as I'm sure you all know, before you're born, your soul has a meeting with your overlighting archangel, your guardian angel, very often your guide, and you discuss what you want to accomplish in that lifetime. Who can best help you accomplish it? Is there someone you need to serve? And then you talk about the people that you'll come in with, and most important of all, the lessons you want to learn. So the vibrations of your name call in your lessons. And that's why a lot of children have just a nickname, abbreviated version. And that means they're not calling in their full soul mission, all their soul lessons during their childhood. And then maybe later on, they'll take on their full name. So instead of being Alex, they become Alexander or whatever. I was always called Di as a child. Now, I think it's awful now. But that was exactly right, because I did not want to take on all the lessons of my full name at that time. And so the letters of your name, and especially the first vowel, the first letter, the first sound is what I'm talking about. That's what has a huge impact, and that's mainly what I'm going to be talking about tonight, but of course the other aspects of it as well. So if your name is said crossly, then of course, especially as a sensitive child, you receive the message, my mission is difficult. If your name sounded lovingly, sung to you like lots of mothers do to their babies, they sing their name, then of course it makes you feel that your lesson is okay. And it's so much easier for that child when they grow up. So here's one question, the first one that came in, I think. Well, the first one that I got down here anyway. I was given, this is from Carol, I was given the name Elizabeth after my grandmother initially, and it's on my birth certificate. Shortly afterwards, I was called Carol. My mum said it was because there were so many abbreviations for Elizabeth. I always think it's strange when people say my name now. I'm not sure if I felt this way when I was younger. I wonder if I'm disconnected for some reason. Often people I've been acquainted with call me Claire by mistake. Is there any significance in your name being changed like that? Wow, is there? I remember in schools always having to say my name wasn't Elizabeth but Carol on roll calls. So you call yourself Carol and you were given the name Elizabeth. So what it sounds like is when you were born, the vibration of Elizabeth was right for you and contains your soul mission. However, on another level, your soul didn't want to take on all the lessons that would come in with that name. So you call yourself Carol. And obviously there was some lack of clarity at a soul level inside you about this, because some people called you Claire by mistake. So it's still the same start of a vibration, because the C, the K of Carol, is to look after your health. So that's what the K, if your name starts with a C or a K sound, so looking after your health, your vitality, taking care of that aspect of you. And the E in Elizabeth, it's not Elizabeth, it's Elizabeth. It's about allowing relationships to flower. I noticed the Elizabeth had a Z in it, and that's about wisdom. And also, Carol is a spiritual song. So it's about harmony and living in harmony. And so it feels as if your soul send out two messages. We often blame other people for calling us different names. Actually, we send out the energy to allow them to do that, to make sure that they come in and use something different, which is really fascinating. I'd be very interested to know if that resonates with you, Carol, because you may not feel that that's so. I know that both my daughters, one was living in Hong Kong and one was in Australia, something like that. Anyway, different parts of the world. And on the same week, they both wrote to me and said that they had changed their name, their Christian name. One changed her name from her first name, which was Cheryl, to Dawn. And my guide said that she wanted to bring in a much more creative aspect of her being. And my other daughter changed her name from Lorraine to Lauren. And my guide said it would make her lessons much softer and easier for her to cope with. So it does have a big impact. Now, Gina, see, as I was saying earlier, as a child, she was called Gina. She was, yeah. Did I get that right? And now she's known by her full name. That often happens. Okay, then Melody. Could you explain the importance of my name, Melody? Well, I don't know anything about you asking about Melody Stone. I don't know anything about that. But Melody is obviously that you wanted to live life in harmony. And so that was something you were calling in. But the M sound at the beginning is about using your wisdom. So Melody, you're being called on to look at your life from a higher perspective. Now, this is not just when your name is sounded. Every time you write your initials, and we're always writing our initials, that is calling in that message for you. That's why that first letter is so, so important. And Bethany, I love how my name sounds in English, but I live in a country where they pronounce my name differently. It's very hard sounding. That sounds very difficult. So I wonder why you at a soul level chose to live in that place where it was going to sound harder or harsher. Now the B sound is about practicality. It's about being solid and grounded. And I don't know, this may be just me, it's not getting it from spirit, but maybe the slightly harsher sounding of your name is going to keep you grounded and practical. And so that will be interesting to see if that resonates with you. Barbie, your parents changed your name over and over. So, oh, hello, Birken. How nice to see you. So it sounds as if at a soul level, you weren't completely certain of what you wanted to call in, because parents respond to you. Remember when I got my puppy, Venus, and went to collect her. I went to go and see her with a friend, and the next day I went back with the same friend to collect her. And in the night, she had told me her name. She just telepathically implanted it. I absolutely knew that was her name. And when I picked up my friend, she said, by the way, I've got your dog's name. And I said, well, I know it. She said, well, it's Venus. I said, yeah, that's the name she told me. We are always picking up. We just don't realize how much. Oh, yes, Trish, of course. Name changes will change your vibration. Look at the numerology of your name. It's not something we were going to do today, but in Atlantis, in the golden era, they actually used numerology for their names, as well as having the incredible psychic ability to tune into what was going on. Oh, there are so many. So, Rose was named after her grandmother, Rose Marion, and Rose Marion was her first and her middle name, her grandmother's. And you say we choose our names before we're born, yeah? So why do people choose to be named after someone in the family? Wow, it's interesting, isn't it? Rose is Mary's rose. And so it's about love and compassion and beauty. It's Mary's flower. And Marion, I believe, is from Mary. And so it's like a double, really, really wanting to be connected to the Mary energy. And strangely enough, this has come in again and again in the questions to come today. Lots of people connected to Mary energy. And so why, it wasn't so much about why you wanted to be connected to your grandmother, but your grandmother was connected to that energy and you wanted to be connected to that energy too. And of course, you then had a much closer link with your grandmother, even if you never met her. Even if your grandmother died before you were born, you would still have that vibrational link with her. See, Judy, you say your name is Judith, though you're known as Judy, and your mother ridiculed you as a child, saying Judy, Judy, saying Punch and Judy, which used to hurt you terribly, make you feel humiliated. Of course, not even the words, it's the intention behind them. And so Judy was an abbreviation of what your real name was. It wasn't calling in your full energy. And perhaps that's why you allowed it. It's very difficult as a child when you've got a mother that's putting down your soul essence, because your name is your essence. And so forgive her, because she obviously was trying to put your light out in some way. And because she felt threatened by you, I suspect. Now, the J vibration at the beginning is about expressing your majesty. So it's about standing out and being counted, being a wise ruler, showing people your magnificence. And she came in to try and stop that, so that for whatever reason between you. And so if you can start to reclaim that energy that you came in for, then your mother wouldn't be able to hurt you again, whether she's dead or alive. Even the thought of it wouldn't hurt you. You would just smile and think she didn't succeed. And you might consider whether you still want to be called Judy, because it's lovely. The Y in it makes a connection with the angelic realms, which is lovely, but there is still more that you could be doing in this lifetime if you used your whole name vibration. Okay. Oh, I like this one. I love my name. Oh, I meant to say with mine. I love my name and feel I have a responsibility with it. Constance. Well, her name is Constance Eleanor Bennell. And she says constant is to be constant, obviously. Eleanor is a shining one, a bright one. And Bennell is about bene, which is being good. So what a lovely translation. It's interesting. You say Constance, to be constant. But you call yourself Connie. You sign yourself Connie. So you are not bringing in the full vibration of constance and constancy. And again, maybe it's time for you to think about bringing in that full name, because Connie is very much an abbreviation of a friendly name. Constance has got so much more nobility about it, because it's a big soul vibration that you want to bring in. So you have a responsibility to it, with it. My name is Sheila, with a long E pronunciation. Well, that's the vowels are very important and very interesting in a name. So E, pronounced that, is about expressing your inner beauty. So it's expressing yourself. And you've also been called by family and friends Sheila Marie. Well, Marie is the Mary energy again, which is the energy of love and compassion, and the divine feminine. And recently, especially this morning, you were awakened by a male voice, not a real voice, a disembodied voice, saying your name to get your attention. So sometimes when you're out and about, you know you're being called by someone, but you don't know who or why. And had some issues recently, and you recovered something you lost a long time ago. Why am I being summoned? Okay, so the E in the Sheila, which is very important in your name, is about honesty in relationships. It's about learning through relationships. And it's about love in relationships, allowing them to flower. So you've got the expressing your inner beauty and allowing love to flower in your life. Now, I suspect, and of course then you've got the Mary energy as well, which is about the higher love. I suspect that Spirit, probably your guide, maybe your guardian angel, is drawing your attention, calling your name, so that you start looking at those lessons that you've come in to do. It's always about waking you up to who you really are. Like the birds sing to you, singing your divine magnificence. You've forgotten the essence of who you truly are, and they're trying to remind you. Isn't that wonderful? And one of the loveliest things you can do, occasionally we do it on small workshops, is sing your name to somebody. Sing that one. They sing your name and you sing their name.
I'm married to my work.
Ah, this is Siri. I turned it off. How is that possible? I actually put it on Moon. Oh well. Still seems to be on. Anyway, technology. Robbie says, you're named after both your granddads, Robert and James. And so you're carrying part of both of their vibrations, and you added Andrew at a later point. Is it a good name? There's no such thing as a good name or a bad name. Does it feel right to you? If you change your name, your life changes. And so if you change your name and you feel really comfortable with your new name, that's fantastic. But notice what different energies start to come in. It really is important. Sorry, I've got so many of these. I've got more typed out here. This is not quite on the subject. I wonder if there's someone I could call in spiritually to help my Oma, my maternal grandmother, to pass over into the light. She's still alive, but only just. And she was scared of passing on. And who can I call her? Well, the answer is Mary. Mary, if you have got a stuck soul in your house, somebody is frightened of passing, call Mary. And she will come immediately and help her. So if you light a candle, you call on her and ask her to help your grandma, then she will help her, and she will surround her and give her a sense of peace about passing over. She changed her surname a few years ago from Knight to Lynn. And did it make a difference? you feel that at the time the more gentle feeling surname suited your calling as a healer. I'm wondering if it had a significant impact on her path. That's Rihanna Lynn. Absolutely. If you change your name like that, and you knew you wanted to be a healer, you knew you wanted to affect it, and intuitively you opened up and received the different name, whether it was a family name or whatever reason you had, that resonated with you. And we're also incredibly intuitive. Now, some people a couple have said, here's Annette, I've always liked my name. Annette Marie, it's another one with Mary. Of course, that's fabulous. That says that you're very in tune with your life purpose, what you came in to do. We don't all have great things to do. So Donna, another Marie, you never liked your name. It's the opposite. You felt it hard and strong. And actually, it's the way it's pronounced very often. But if you don't like it and you feel it's too hard for you, you can change it. Connect with your soul. Talk to your guardian angel. Feel what's right. Now, the D is about generosity. It's about giving. And so maybe you've done that part. Just look at your life and see. And then, if you don't want that name anymore, change it. Change it to a middle name or choose a completely different name for yourself. And your life will change. Shaz. My name is Sharon, and everyone shortens it to Shaz or Shah. So you don't want you're not yet ready to undertake your full soul lessons. Sometimes they're uncomfortable. Sometimes we don't want to undertake them. So you're still keeping the shh, which is about expressing your inner beauty, but you're not having the full whack in your life. Because sometimes the vibration of your name brings in tests, if that's your mission, and challenges. And sometimes life feels challenging enough already. So you have to decide what's right for you. So, Edeltraud, that's lovely. Your sons have the names Andre and Simon. Both names are Andrew and Simon, apostles of Jesus. And they were brothers, and you love Jesus. That's lovely. The fact that you chose those names with the vibration of Jesus in mind will add something to the energy. And also, I say you chose those names. They chose those names. The souls coming in chose the names and imparted it to you. You picked it up, and you picked up the Jesus connection as well. And so everybody was then happy about it. So that's really good. I love that one, Caroline Nettle. You've just started really loving your surname, Nettle, as you now you're on medicinal herb form. Fantastic, perfect. I think that's really lovely when there is that alignment there and you recognize it. Oh, beautiful. And nettles are so healing and used for so many things. So Catherine, my name is Catherine Elizabeth, which is a very lovely, noble name. And all your life your siblings call you Gaggy. So as a grown-up, you're Auntie Gaggy. Well, I don't know if anybody else calls you, but it feels like with your family, those soul lessons of Gaggy are what you need to have with your family, because you're allowing it, you've always allowed it, and probably liked it. And in your rest of your life, you're calling in the soul's lessons. Right, what else have we got? Ah, here's another one that's a common theme that's run through. I've always felt as if your name is not my name. Why? Since birth, I didn't feel I belonged to my family, my town, or my state. Okay. Well, your name is Joni, and J is about rulership, expressing your majesty. Interesting that you don't like it. It's very, very, very rare for a child to be given the wrong name. Parents are so intuitive to a child. They are so psychically bonded, especially the mother, that they practically always get it right. So what I'm hearing you say is that you've got the right name, but you don't like the lessons associated with it. And so look at the lessons, the things that have happened in your life, and see, have I learned those lessons? Have I overcome them? Have I done that? If you have, then it's time to change your name if you want to, or come to terms with it. Because if you've learned those lessons, maybe you can just happily accept that name. And if you really can't, it's your right to change it if you don't like the vibrations it's calling in. Now, what it sounds is that you felt you didn't belong to the family because they had a different vibration from yours. So if you come into a family with a lower frequency or just a different one, because that's what you needed to experience, then you are going to feel different. And if you feel you're living in the wrong place, then it's time to find out where your vibration resonates with, because every place has a vibration too. And we have past lives where something nasty happened and we feel uncomfortable in that place. And somewhere else we feel immediately at home. I'm sure you've all had names that, places where you felt absolutely, totally, I belong here. This is my place. But this is comfortable with people. They can be strangers practically, but you feel comfortable with them. And so it feels like you could do with either shifting your entire attitude to your life or moving something in your life. Karen, my husband took his own life. I'm so sorry. And I still, let me finish reading it and still have his name. I want to change it back. I won't, will it hold me back? Because my health has been awful since. First of all, you say your husband took his own life. Now, that's awful for the people left behind. There's so much about guilt and everything else attached to that, not being good enough, all of that. And in fact, you cannot take your own life without permission from your overlighting archangel and source. It's simply not possible. And so, because your guardian angel would step in and stop it, it's not permitted. And so he died at the time that was right for him. Now, suicide is a very emotive subject. And I knew somebody, and she tried to commit suicide, I think, twice. And each time she was stopped. And then she committed suicide in a way that was definitely going to happen. And I asked my guide about it. I said, well, look, why didn't she succeed before? And he said it wasn't her time. She had permission to go on the day when she went. And so she was stopped before that. That was the right day for her to go home. And some people commit suicide because they hear the call to go home, and that's time. Saskia, your son's transgender and wants to have another name. Will the energy change with the new name? Absolutely. Yeah, change the name and bring something that is right for him or her now. My name is Laura. I don't use my maiden name or surname. How does that work? I'm not quite sure what the question is. Oh, Lemkus. You don't need your maiden name. I'm not sure what your question is. Sorry, Laura. Whatever name you do use, that's fine. People have asked, when you get married, does the vibration change? Do your soul lessons change? Do you call different things into you? And the answer is absolutely yes. And traditionally, women always had many more lessons than men because they got married and they changed their names. Each time they changed their names, something different happened in their lives. And of course, your life does change dramatically when you get married, especially in the olden days when you were a woman and you had to move into your husband's house very often, or you had to then, well, you know what it was like in the olden days. Perhaps I've said enough about that. It's not the same now. It's beginning to change, and as a result, women are keeping their names, or they're hyphenating them and having two names, and the husband is as well. So they're both changing together, and they are calling different names in for that purpose. Okay, Yvonne. Now, that's interesting because the Y is about expressing angelic qualities. So that's a lovely start to that name. And so that's what you're calling in, a big connection to the angels. So Timothy and Tracy, to look at this. Ah, what vibration does a T have at the beginning? And that is about contentment, being contented. Start looking at your soul lot and be contented with it. Okay, now, my name is Angelina Hermes, and I've wondered for years if this means I'm indeed a messenger, as both my first name and last name say that, angel and the god Hermes. Ever since I was a young child, people would get my name wrong. I've grown up being called Jacqueline, Angelique, Angela, and at some point even Paula. Never understand why this happens. Remembering Angelina is not rocket science. Why am I not being seen? Okay, yes, your name is about being a messenger, an angelic messenger. So don't say, why aren't they seeing me? Say, what am I projecting out that means that people do not see who you are? It's always people feed back to us. Life is our body's biofeedback mechanism, our entire life is. And so if people are feeding something back to you, then what are you sending out? Because other people give you back exactly what you send out. Life is a mirror. And so start shifting that round and look internally and say, do I not feel qualified to be a messenger? What is it about Angelique? And shift something. And then you'll find that people always get your name right. Remember, years and years ago, I had a client, and she said that, people at school used to call her by her sister's name. She was the youngest sister, and lots of people would just call her sister's name. She couldn't understand it. It wasn't right, it wasn't fair. She was very cross about it. But then, as we started to talk about things, turned out, she said, when I was little, I wanted to be my sister. I wanted to be like her. I wanted to do everything. I'd dress in her clothes. I'd write her name. Well, she projected that out so strongly that people called her by her sister's name. So just watch what you're projecting out, because the universe will give it back to you. We are all messengers for the universe. Yeah, Charla, your name is Charla, named from your grandmother, Charlotte. Am I connected to her? Absolutely. If you've chosen that, if your soul has chosen that vibration, then you have a big connection with her. And she will probably be helping with all sorts of levels. Sarah, your 4-year-old hates her name, Selby. She says it's something else. Should I let her change it? Wow, that's a very, very difficult one. At a soul level, she chose the name Selby, and that's what her lessons are. But maybe she could choose herself a name and use that until she's older, and then talk to her and say, well, perhaps you'd like to have your other name now. And it may be is that she just does not want to undertake the lessons associated with Selby. But that's your call. That's not an easy one. Okay. So my name is Leah, and I was wondering what the significance is. My first name is Virginia. I rarely go by it. Okay, so Virginia has many, many lessons associated with it. V is about true power. So calling in the lessons about true power is something really, really strong. And so the L is about being strong-minded. But it's much, much gentler. And so if you want to start connecting with your true lessons, then use Virginia. And if you're happy to be where you are at here, stay with that. No one's forcing anything. There's no right and there's no wrong about this. And I think it's really lovely to have a name that you feel very comfortable with and that feels right to you, because then you will feel comfortable about the lessons. Because we live in very challenging times. Okay. Oh, here's another one. Interesting, a bit different. My first name is Lynn, and it doesn't have a vowel. How does this affect me as a person? I have a middle name that has vowels, but my last name doesn't have vowels. It's only 2 consonants, it's N-G. Should I change my last name? If so, what vowels or consonants are good to have in a name or to bring forth situations that are ideal in your life? Okay, so Lynn doesn't have a vowel, but of course it has the Y. And the Y is the bringing in the angelic qualities and spreading angelic qualities. And so it's treated as a vowel because it's about expressing angelic qualities. And that's really a very powerful thing. NG as the last name. So is that Chinese? I'm not sure. But if you feel comfortable with it, if it feels right for you, then why should you change it just because it hasn't got a vowel? The vowels are important. That if you've got an A, it's about purity. It's about remaining pure. And if it's pronounced I, it's about purity of spirit, and it's about transmuting all those lower feelings and opening your heart to others. If you've got an E, it's about allowing the relationship, it's about learning through a relationship, and the E sound, which we talked about earlier, is about allowing relationships to flower. If you've got an I, it's about self-awareness. It's about understanding yourself. And if you've got an I sound, I've got Diana. It's so interesting. It's about spirituality and exploring the world beyond the physical. R is about acting with integrity. Bring this integrity into your life. O is to be true to yourself, self-acceptance, stay in your essence. And U is about divine connectedness. So it's about staying connected to the divine. And U, it's pronounced you like Hugh, it's about keeping your integrity while protecting your heart. So it's a much more complex one. And is looking after your fragile heart. So very similar each one, but slightly different. The pronunciation makes a difference. But all those vowels are calling in something different for you to learn on earth while you're here. Okay, Saskia. Thank you. The name he wants is the correct name because of the energy. Beautiful. That's wonderful. Then call him that. Isn't that nice that you, as a mother, can accept that? Not always easy. And so many children are shifting their name vibration slightly or choosing their middle name. In other words, taking on a slightly different pathway. I know that it's certainly my daughter who changed her name to her middle name. Her life changed quite dramatically. Sometimes they're going up so quickly, I'm not actually able to read them. So I've got another one here. I'm Rose, and I was wondering, since roses are a signature of Mother Mary, if it's linked to her. Okay. My mother almost named me April, since my birthday is in April, but instead named me after her best friend's mother. I used to wish she named me April. I liked it better, but now I'm glad I'm a rose. Roses are my favourite flowers, so it fits, yes, and connected to Mother Mary. It's the signature of her. Another one which is fairly similar to one before. My birth certificate, my name is Peggy Lee, but I always use just Peggy. Does that make a difference? Yeah, of course it does. Lee calls in different lessons, more lessons. L is about being strong-minded. E is to open yourself up and let relationships flower. And so those lessons would come to you more if you use both names again. Please tell me the meaning of my surname. I use my full name. Eddie is my surname. Does having a first name as your surname mean anything? Well, in the olden days, if a father acknowledged a child, especially in those days where if a child wasn't born in wedlock, they often took the Christian name as a surname of the father as a kind of acknowledgement. And then that, of course, has gone on down through generations in history. So, isn't that interesting that you still have that as your surname? And that's really nice. It means I'm acknowledged by my father. And that has all sorts of meanings. It's another Mary one. We've had so many. And look, here, Kiki says, what about my name, Christina? Well, that Christina is about connection to the Christ. And Kiki doesn't have that. And the K sound is about teaching knowledge with wisdom. So maybe we wanted to bring that in instead. And Melissa is a bee, isn't it? So it's about sweetness and honey. And the M is about seeing situations from a higher perspective. Oh, yes, your son's name is Aaron. At the age of 3, he insisted his name is Christopher. When he was 11, he moved to Crete and he became Christos. Well, isn't it wonderful that you acknowledged your son's power to bring forward the name that he wanted, his soul, that his soul wanted to express, and you allowed it and brought it forward. And of course, it is about expressing Christ's energy, the unconditional love. It's very interesting. Here's another one. My younger son, Aski Alexander, we called him Thunder. At the age of 4, he told us, my name is Aske. How come? So he just knew that that's what he wanted to be called. You know, these children now are very wise. They're very much more spiritually connected. Jennifer, your son, Talia. I've got a granddaughter, Talia, it's not spelled like that. So she wants a boy's name. Okay. There are lots of names that can be either girls or boys, or she may just want to express a more masculine aspect of her, or she may indeed, in this time of transgender, might indeed be expressing something else, but I wouldn't rush that one. I would listen and listen and listen to her feelings. I think it's the greatest gift you can give a child, is just to listen to understand, not listening to reply. Okay, I'm sorry that one went up so quickly. Literally, I couldn't see it. My name is Suzanne Camilla Annette. My last name is Parker. I'm only called Suzanne. Well, the S is the most important letter there, and that's about being trustworthy. So it's about expressing yourself truthfully and honestly. Hey, here's a nice one. I was named Rebecca, but called Becky only when I was at school, first to 12th grade. Because you say that Y at the end of the name helps the angels to be closer, and I needed them more for school, which I didn't like. Yeah, a lot of children could do the Y in their name for school. And you had a childhood cat for those years, and she was protecting you. So the R of Rebecca is about communicating with truth. But isn't it wonderful that you recognise that you needed that extra angelic protection to be called in while you were in school, and then later you could use the fuller version of your name. Oh, here's a different one. When you have your confirmation name, do you add those numbers into your birth name too, as they become part of your full name? Yes. Should your signature always be your full name, or can it just be initial surname and the energy is the same? No. If you're just writing your initials, the energy is different from a full signature. Means if you see people writing their signature as pst or pfr, they're not wanting you to see who they are. That is just being a snake. You know, they've seen signatures like this. Oh, be careful. If you're writing your full name clearly, you are making a statement. I am happy to be seen. I must say, when I write my name, I always try to make it as clear as possible, so that what you see is what you get. There's nothing hidden. And if people realise that, it would make a big difference. And so I think that's slightly not quite the same as what you asked, but all right. And also, it depends what you want to call it. If you want to just write one initial in your name because you don't want to call in the full energy of your name, then you only write that. But if you want to call in the full energy, you want to use your full power, then you use your whole name. What happens when you get married? Your name changes. Do the numbers and energies change too? Yes. And your path changes when you get married. It's a big shift if you change your name too. What's this one? Well, that's a long one, but shall I just read it out? My name is Marianne. It's given to me from my mother, the thoughts of the Blessed Virgin Mary and her mother Anne. Very honoured to have both of their names. My confirmation name is Teresa, which I chose from St. Teresa. I remember like it was yesterday, walking on the grounds of a church with my mother and her cousin. There were statues around on the grounds to this church. I found myself standing in front of St. Teresa. I was 9 or 10 years old at that time, captivated by how beautiful she was standing before me. That day I promised her I was going to take her name for my confirmation name. That's a very powerful thing to do. Years passed, I was 13 years old, and the day arrived to be confirmed. We had to let the church know what confirmation name I was going to take. I didn't care for the name Teresa and battled within myself to keep my name, as I had promised her that day, or choose another name that I would like. I decided to take my promise and took St. Teresa's name. Good thing to do. That was the day that a notable trait of my character shone. And to this day, at the age of 66 this June, I am very proud of at that time being so young and following my heartfelt thoughts of keeping my promise to St. Teresa. Well done. That's really, really good that you did that. And look at the difference it's made. Oh, no, there's another sheet of questions here, I've forgotten. How can we find a perfect name for a baby? My baby is due any day now. Oh, congratulations, Nadia. Still haven't found a name that resonates. Do most babies come to the planet with a name already in mind? Yes, they do. And it's a question of listening. And for some reason, sometimes it's not so easy. You hear of babies that aren't named for weeks even. But if you just relax and trust and ask for the highest good to come from it, I think you'll get the right name for your baby. And it's, oh dear, now that's affected me, hasn't it? And it's really helpful for a baby to be welcomed with their name and for that name to be sounded lovingly and sung lovingly to them. So if you can find the name for your baby, that would be really, really helpful for them. I've always felt that something went wrong when my parents changed my name. I'm now 46, and before I was born, my parents were going to call me Linda. By the time I was actually born, a relative living with them put them off the name, and I was officially called Olivia. Actually very similar. It's got the L and the I in it. Around 9 months old, on a trip to visit my dad's family in Italy, his mother was so upset I'd not been named Virginia after herself. She threatened to cut him out of her will, which she was in the middle of drawing up. They didn't change my name. So I was renamed after her in 1973. A lot of ego about names. I got worse. I was called Gina for short. But aged about 3, my sister fell out with her best friend of the same name. So Gina got changed to Ginny, which is a very different vibration. I still have relatives that call me Gina by mistake. I feel my family were very irresponsible. Well, I think 2 things were happening. Yeah, clearly there was a bit of ego going on around here. But maybe your grandmother absolutely knew that your soul vibration was Virginia. And if that's the case, then your family was actually doing the right thing for you. We forget that a lot of these things are orchestrated by your guardian angel, by those in spirit who are trying to help you, so that mistakes don't terribly often happen. And I think you need to decide which of these names you want to be, Gina or Virginia or Ginny. And take the decision looking at the numerology and what feels right for you. And you may be surprised what you come up with. What does S mean? We just had S, didn't we, a minute ago? It's about trustworthiness. So it's about being totally trustworthy in all your dealings and doing and speaking with that energy. Hi, David. Oh, there's another one, Virginia. We keep having Mary and Rose and Virginia. I feel almost afraid of Virginia as a name and try not to use it, apart from official stuff. I was teased at school for being called Virginia. Apart from that never really feeling like my name or feeling happy about it, I begged my parents to let me change it constantly to me until I gave up around 16. The nickname of Barbie, which I use for Facebook since I collect vintage Barbie dolls, I generally call myself Ginny. I've struggled with my full name so much that I even stutter sometimes when I try to say it. Ginny Aka Barbara. Okay. It feels as if Virginia brings in very difficult, challenging lessons for you. So much so that you're frightened of using it. And that sounds like some sort of past life thing that it might be an idea for you to explore. Because if you can call yourself by the right name for you, then that makes your life totally different. It changes your life path everything shifts for you. Yeah. Johnny, well, the J, we keep having the J too. J is about standing in your power and your magnificence and being a wise ruler. And trying to get my dog, I think maybe the sound might be my dog jumping up and down, or it's me moving papers, because I've had to type out pages and pages and pages about these questions. Oh, and the time is flying past, and I just want to say next week there isn't a Facebook Live. I am having a little break. The week after, on the 17th, I'm going to do the Wisdom of Lemuria. And on the 24th, the following Wednesday after that, I'm doing a Zoom on Unicorn and Archangel Gems, which is incredibly powerful. And basically, it's about taking the energy of the gems. We're doing 5, and each gem is not just the archangel light in it, but also the rays, and then it's taken up to a 9th dimensional level, and unicorn energy is added to it. And we're working with them in different ways so that you can feel how they can work on you. I think it's going to be incredibly powerful. And oh, I haven't got a date here, but I think it's, sorry, I haven't got the date. I'm doing one on Archangel Raphael as well. So that's what's coming up in the near future. And I hope you've enjoyed tonight. I'm sorry, I had so many questions coming in. I didn't have time to answer so many that came down. But thank you very much. It's been lovely, and I love talking to you. Bless you for joining me. That might be that noise again. If it is, let me move the papers. If that's better, we'll know it was the papers. So lots of love, everybody. Take care.